Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The program is about to begin. All inductees.
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, stop posing for pictures and get on up here. All right, so field.
Forecasting, how are you, sir? How you been? Good, you are great.
If I can have your attention, please. Attention, please. Hello, everybody. My name is Dave Spidero with the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm very honored to be here tonight. Welcome to Lincoln Financial Field. We're here to celebrate sports at every level. So it is indeed a very, very special night. We've got a great list of inductees into the 2010 Philadelphia chapter of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the Executive Director of the City Chapter of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. Please, everybody, welcome Milt Halstead, everyone.
Boy, I can see the bar's full, but that's typical with football officials and anybody in sports. First of all, I want to welcome everybody here tonight. This is a new venture for us, moving here to the link. Dugan's just got worn out, and we're trying to expand it and move different things. As you all know, this venture is like an offshoot of the High School All-Star Classic, which from here on in will now be called, and Dave will give you the name. We have a new logo, and it's now the Philadelphia Eagles City High School All-Star Classic. The big thing is to raise money for scholarships. If my voice tweaks, for those of you that don't know, probably 3/4 of the room knows, 3 weeks ago I just had both knees replaced. So there's a little pain, but not much. A lot less than what I used to have. With that being said, I want to welcome all the inductees here tonight. This is probably the first year I haven't met each one individually, but at some point I will, or some point I will call. Ralph could not be here tonight because his wife is in the hospital, so he could not come up from Florida. There's a couple of people that I just want to recognize, and I'll get off this stage as quickly as possible. The first person that I want to recognize is the girl that helped me put this all together, Lindsay Ferguson, back there from the Philadelphia Eagles. The next people I want to do that is the two girls in the back, the three girls in the back. It's Patrice, Holly, and Diane. They do all the work here, along with Mike Poland and all the board members. But at some point later on in the night, when I bring the president up, he'll have the board members stand or whatever way he wants to do it. There's one individual in the room, Bill Pallo. Where is he? Right here. Bill, since he got involved, has raised for us $35,000. With that, we have 3 tables back there. There's one silent auction table, and there's 2 raffle tables. The silent auction is just put down the price. The raffle tickets are 5 for $20 or $5 a piece. That's a no-brainer there, but that's beside the point. All of that money, any money raised tonight goes into the scholarship fund. The other partner I want to introduce is the Maxwell Football Club. They're sitting over here at this table, and the leader there is Mark Wolpert, who's sitting right there, and they've been a partner here along with Bob Clark, who has stepped down. And they're also going to get more involved and make this thing a bigger and better success. This is the largest we've ever had. We're up to like, I think, 490 people, which is a total and huge success. With that, I'm going to leave the stage. I want you all to enjoy the night, have fun. I want to thank all the football officials that came. There's a load of them back there. So with that being said, I want to bring up our president, Wayne Cunningham.
Thank you, Milt. I have two quick announcements that I wanted to make. One is please turn all cell phones off, put them on vibrate or whatever. Give the inductees a chance to speak and so you can hear them without interruption. Also, there's some sad news today that I hate to bring to you, but I'd like to have a moment of silence for Dan Steferi of the University of Pennsylvania in St. Joe's Prep, who passed away today. So if everybody will give a moment of silence, please. Thank you. I'd like the previous inductees and board members of the City All-Star Chapter and the state inductees of the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame, if they will stand. Will they please stand? They're all scattered around. Some over here, some there. We had to scatter around so we can keep a little control. I want to welcome the members and officers of the Summit, Montgomery County, and Bucks County Hall of Fame chapters. Will they please stand? Bucks County, Montgomery County, Summit. We like to work with our fellow chapters of the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame, and we're trying to have a great state induction in next year. Also, we're glad to welcome Tim Carroll, the husband of Diane, Milt's secretary. Where's Tim? Tim, wish you a speedy recovery. Glad to have you with us. We also want to welcome a star in the Philadelphia area, Al Golden, Temple's great football coach. Thank you. Now we have a special treat. We're going to have the national anthem sung by Maureen Adamson. She comes up. Maureen's a freshman at the Boyer School of Music at Temple. Her major is music education with a minor in vocal performance. She's a soprano specializing in opera and classical music. She's thrilled to sing the national anthem, honoring her cousin Bill Connors and all the inductees, who have changed the lives of countless of young athletes. And here's Maureen.
Stripes and bright stars.
Thank you very much, Maureen. I know that you all heard that voice, fabulous voice, unbelievable, huh? Wow. That's all I can say is wow. Next, I'd like to call Reverend Joseph Campolone up, President of Father Judge High School, to give the invocation.
Thank you. Let us stand. Almighty God, as we come here together tonight to celebrate these 11 people inducted into the Hall of Fame, we give thanks for their example to us, for their fields, courts, and ice, for their churches where they inspire young student athletes to become all they can be. We ask you to bless the people who supported them, and we ask you to continue to be with them as they receive their honors tonight. And we ask you to bless all of us here and those who made this dinner possible. We ask this through our Lord during this Easter season, and we say with a loud amen, amen.
You may be seated, thank you. My last job is to introduce the Master Ceremonies. He's been with us before, done a tremendous job, Dave Spadaro.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're going to have dinner now, but before we do, I just want to remind you and kind of reiterate what Milt talked about with the raffle tickets. They are 5 tickets for $20, $5 per ticket. And among the items, there are numerous items available. We also have a silent auction. And at the silent auction, autographed helmets, Asante Samuel, Eagles quarterback Kevin Cobb, Pro Bowl wide receiver Deshaun Jackson, an autographed football from Eagles head coach Andy Reid, a jersey signed by Philadelphia 76er Elton Brand, and a photograph and autographed shoe from Eagles Pro Bowl kicker David Akers. That's all available for the silent auction. The deadline, guys, is after dinner. So at the conclusion of dinner, we will end the sale of the raffle tickets. The table is located back here. There's an ATM machine on this floor. And again, all of that money goes to scholarships. So your contribution, your involvement is very, very much appreciated. I think Lindsay now is going to take over. Oh, the bar is open, okay. The bar is open. Mr. Cunningham wanted to make sure that the bar is open. We're now going to do dinner here. Lindsay, come on up. This will be a very orderly process.
Hi everyone. First, we're going to start with the head table, so you guys can get up and go and grab your food. And after that, I'm going to individually come around to your table, and we'll do 5 to 10 tables at a time to keep it nice and orderly. Thank you, and enjoy the food.
All right, let's go, guys. You all ready? May 13th, kickoff at 7:30. It's incorrectly reported in the program that it's at Charlie Martin Field. It is, in fact, here at Lincoln Financial Field. The banquet is also here in this room on Monday, May 10th. Tickets cost $5. They're available at Ticketmaster at the gate, and anyone associated with the board will also sell you tickets. Last chance for a raffle and for the silent auction. We will very shortly start announcing the winners for those who have taken part with the raffle and the silent auction. Let's begin our announcement of the 2010 inductees into the City Chapter of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame. Now the great thing is tonight we are all here for one reason, and that is sports, athletics, at every single level. And our first inductee epitomizes the importance of doing it the right way for the children, a safe way and a healthy way. He served as the Director of Physical Education and Athletics at the Episcopal Academy in Marion, graduate of Northeast Public High School. In 1998, selected Person of the Year by the Interact League. In 2004, received the Distinguished Service Award from the Episcopal Academy. In May of 2005, Westchester University presented him with a Distinguished Alumni Award, and in October, he will be inducted into the Sturzbecker Hall of Fame. He's a noted author, coach, and director of physical administration, education, athletics. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Richard Borkowski.
Thank you. Some of that is actually true. It's a great pleasure and a great honor to be inducted into this august body. My words will escape me how I feel for this great honor. I told Wayne Cunningham that I would be the first speaker and I would give the most perfect after-dinner speech. I'm going to have a beginning, an end, and I'm going to make sure that both of those parts of my speech are very, very close together. I was reminded that I've been involved in athletics for 60 years, first as a player, then as a coach, then as an athletic director, an athletic administrator, then as a writer of sporting articles and books, and then finally as someone that our legal system and our insurance company calls a sport safety expert witness. I'm not too sure about the last title. Thinking about that makes you reflect on all the wonderful people that helped you during your professional career, the people that you want to share this recognition with, the people that you want to thank very much. Clearly, the teammates, all of your coaches, all of the players who survived the slings and arrows of your outrageous coaching over the years, all these people are what makes sports all about. Winning kids first, winning games second. I could list the 120 coaches that I needed every year at the Episcopal Academy to coach our 115-pound teams, but if I mention one, particularly from the Episcopal Academy table, I'll miss somebody and I will hear about it forever. There are three coaches that we all have that I think really changed a lot of my thinking. One was a junior high school coach by the name of Mr. Cavanaugh. And when I saw him wearing a pair of sneaks, shorts, and a t-shirt going to school every day, I said, that's the job that I want. He was very instrumental in my deciding to go into the world of athletics. At Northeast High School, Gus Geigus was my mentor, a great coach, but more than that, he taught me about life because he knew I needed to get out of Port Richmond for at least some part of my life, and always sent me up to a camp in New York where I actually met people who did not live in Port Richmond. The third person is Glenn Killinger, the legendary coach at Westchester University, who I am still proud to say I was the captain of a team that he called, it was the greatest team that he ever coached. I'm sure he had a few drinks before he said that, but we still remember that every year. There are two people in the audience I'd also like to thank and remember. One is a gentleman who cajoled, threatened, and put some money under the table to the committee so that I would be inducted on this dais. That's Mr. Seymour Lemonette, and he's here with his wife, Eileen Lemonette. And of course, the second person here has had the hardest coaching job in her entire life. For 52 years, she has been my personal coach, my wife, Bunny Borkowski. I'd certainly like to congratulate, sit down there, I'd certainly like to congratulate all of the fellow inductees, and a special thank you to the committee, to the Pennsylvania Sport Hall of Fame and this particular charter. All the work that they've done, and work that they've done all the years, successfully and continually to place the role of sport in the proper place and to show it as a need for all of our young people, to take nice young boys and nice young girls and turn them into young men and young women. So I congratulate them for that continual effort and may they continue doing this all the time. We need sport more today than we ever had. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard.
Here we go. Here's one. Okay, got it?
I think I have
Just a quick announcement, the raffle and the silent auction are closed. Thank you very much for taking part. And in just a moment, we'll start announcing the winners for the raffle and the silent auction. Thanks very much. Richard, thank you very much. You know, I think we'd all love to have the opportunity to give back to where we started. And our next inductee certainly has had that opportunity. A graduate of Father Judge High School in 1968, Bill Connors has had the opportunity to create a legacy at Father Judge as a volunteer, donating his time and creating really a dynasty in many sports, most notably hockey. He was the coach of the year for ice hockey in 2004, two-time Pennsylvania state champion, an accomplished athlete himself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, with the support from the Iron Workers Union as well, Mr. Bill Connors.
33 items, space them out.
First off, I'd like to thank everyone for coming tonight. It's a great honor to be here. I'm overwhelmed. I'm very humbled, believe me. First off, I'd like to thank the committee, who, especially Bob Dillon, who nominated me tonight. He said he was going to sing a little bit later, but he forgot his guitar, so that's not going to happen. I'd like to thank my family, my brothers, my sisters, my uncles, aunts, my cousins, my in-laws, my son-in-law. I'd like to thank Holtz Logistics. I'd like to thank Local 401, who's over here tonight. AOH Division 39. I'd also like to thank Father Judge High School for giving me all the support they have all these years. And last but not least, let's thank our troops for giving us an opportunity like this. Freedom's not free, okay? To be a successful coach at any level, it's essential to have three things: an understanding wife and family, good team players, and a great coaching staff, and best of all, a great school to support you. The school has supported Father Judge ice hockey for the last, since 1991. We are recognized more so than most schools. We're in the yearbook. They're behind us 100%. It's just a great school to coach, and I'm glad that Father Judge has done this for us. But in about 34 years ago, I had the opportunity to coach the Philadelphia Roadrunners, a women's ice hockey team. And the reason why I was out on the ice, I have a sister that's hearing impaired. And she didn't know what the coaches were saying. She's a great athlete. So I had to go out and tell them what she was saying. The next thing I knew, all the coaches quit. Here I am, I'm the head coach. I coached them for 6 years. Right after that, I was asked by a few people if I'd like to be an assistant coach for Father Judge. I coached the JV team for 2 years. And then for the last 28 years, I've been the head coach of Father Judge Ice Hockey. Some of the coaches I'd like to thank and some of the people. As people know, ice hockey is a very expensive sport, so you have to have certain people to help you out, especially the managers. The manager's job is probably more important than the coaches. I'd like to thank Frank Casera for 20 plus years of undivided attention to the kids, to the parents, and to the program. I'd also like to thank Kathy Gibson, who is unbelievable with the school. She does the tuition, she does the school, she does the hockey team, but she's just a great person. I'd also like to thank all the coaches who've coached with me over the years, all the way down to the middle school, all the way up to the varsity. It was a long time ago, in 2002, I walked into the locker room during the playoff run, and here was a guy in there giving the kids a pep talk. He's one of our special individuals in the world. He's still with us today, and he's given our kids some great pep talks. And I'd like Kevin Karcher to please stand up over here. Stay there, Kevin. Also, there's one guy who's been with me for 21 years. He's the one guy that probably could have been a head coach anywhere he wanted to be. And he's never swayed away from me. And I love that guy to death, and that's Chris Plymouth. Chris, please stand up. Okay, last but not least, I would like to thank my family who supported me through thick and thin. And believe me, there's been some thin. My wife said to my daughter one time in the middle of a playoff run, my daughter said to my wife in the middle of a playoff run, "Mom, how can you stand him?" She says, "I just don't talk to him till it's over." Okay, I'd like to thank everyone tonight, especially Bobby Dillon for nominating me. Thank my family, and just thank everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bill. We have our raffles that we're going to give out while the gentlemen and the inductees are photographed, so you can grab your tickets. I'll read off the final 3 numbers on each ticket. We have 33 gifts to give out. All right, our next gentleman was able to take his skills developed in the city of Philadelphia as a Germantown High School student and graduate onto the national stage. He brought Olympic gold back to Philadelphia as a member of the 1976 Olympic team, a member of the 4x400 relay team, one of the fastest men in the world. Had an absolutely amazing track career for Arizona State and also representing our country, and then since then has worked in the ranks at the collegiate level at Arizona State, the University of Hawaii, and most recently as the Senior Associate Athletic Director for Sports Administration at Temple University. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Herman Frazier.
First of all, let me say thank you. And it's really a pleasure to see so many of you out here this evening in this wonderful facility here at Lincoln Financial Field. Those of you who have known me over the years know that I can do a pretty good job of winging it. But tonight, there are so many people here in the audience that I'd like to thank that I really had to reduce my comments to writing. Let me say, first of all, I'd like to congratulate all the other inductees. And it is indeed my privilege to be inducted with you this evening. I would also like to thank the selection committee for the honor as well, because I am humbled. Growing up in Philadelphia, I was always involved in sports, but little did I know how far sports would take me. I also have to admit that my parents stressed education as much as I did sports, and they pushed me very hard in the classroom. My parents, who are both deceased, were my role models, you see, and neither one of them graduated from college, but they wanted that distinction for me, and they made sacrifices for me to be successful. My career started at Germantown High School, and I am forever indebted to the coaches there who made a difference in my life. At Germantown, I played basketball, baseball, football, and track and field. In basketball, I played only on the 10th grade team, but on the track team, I was really only a high jumper as a junior at the high school. You see, very few people know that I only ran my senior year of high school, and 3 years later, I had a gold medal from the Pan Am Games, and 1 year later, I had a bronze and gold medal from the Olympics. That really was the beginning of my athletic career, but it was also the beginning of my professional career. Germantown was great, but Arizona State was even better. However, I had one condition about going to ASU. We had to have the Penn Relays on the schedule, or I was not coming to Arizona State University. You see, the Penn Relays were big for us, and we certainly made our presence felt over the years at that prestigious event. Upon graduation, I was hired at Arizona State University at the tender age of 23 years old as an assistant athletic director, and 32 years later, I'm in the same profession, although 3 positions removed from Arizona State. And you heard our MC say, I spent time at University of Alabama, Birmingham, University of Hawaii, and my current employer, Temple University. I've served many organizations throughout my career who've also assisted in my professional development, and they had a great deal in furthering my career. The Fiesta Bowl, of which I was the president in 1999, the United States Olympic Committee, of which I served 2 terms as the vice president, and also USA Track and Field, that I served 1 term as the vice president. I've had many people to thank, and 2 of those people are here, 2 of my high school coaches, Don Coster and Bill McMahon. Guys, thanks for all you did for me. Baldy Castillo, who was my head track coach at Arizona State University. Alex Woodley, the wonderful man who was the coach of the Philadelphia Pioneer Track and Field Club. And Dr. Leroy Walker, who was my Olympic coach back in 1976. I would also like to recognize my Temple family who's here in the audience, and really thank Bill Bradshaw, who had the vision to bring me back to Philadelphia. And you heard earlier about Al Golden. For those of you who have not seen a Temple football game, please make sure you come and see us next year. What a wonderful, wonderful coach we have there, and a wonderful program he's built for Temple University to bring college football back to Philadelphia. So how about a round of applause for him? I would also like to thank, and I have to smile, my administrative assistant, Bev Tinsley. You would think she was going into the Hall of Fame tonight because she's had a wonderful time behind the scenes trying to convince many of the coaches to come out and be a part of this. I would also like to lastly thank Caroline for putting up with me and the constant travel all over the globe, because believe me, my calling in life is trying to make a difference in the lives of young people. Thanks to everyone who's here this evening. I hope you enjoy your evening, and it really is indeed my pleasure to be in your Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Thank you, Herman. Thank you, Herman. I'd like to announce the winners of the silent auction. 3 more winners for the tickets. Our next inductee, another product of Father Judge High School, that graduated in 1969. A great night for Father Judge here. He went on to attend LaSalle University, and there's a large segment here that surprisingly, apparently, are not at the bar at the moment. They represent the officials, those who make sure the games are played properly. This gentleman's been an official since 1985 at the NCAA level, has officiated over 150 games, including 18 playoff assignments. Additionally, he's been very instrumental and a pioneer as a coach at the youth level, specifically with the Somerton Youth Organization, coaching softball and baseball, something near and dear to my heart, particularly the softball side. Ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome Andy Hafel.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for this award. It's a great honor to be up here, and I also like to thank my fellow recipients I'm honored to be part of this 2010 class. It goes without saying, anytime you're standing up here to receive such award, there's a lot of people out there to get you to stand up here. And I am no exception to that rule. Probably needed a lot more help to get up here than most. My journey in sports starts in two different directions. I was a coach for over 20 years at the high school and college level of softball, and also been a football official for over 30 years. My softball career started at the sandlot level. I coached my son in baseball and went over to my daughter for when they couldn't find any coaches to coach the girls t-ball, and I was with my son for about 4 or 5 years. He had probably had enough of me, so I moved over to my daughter, and they gave me 3 softballs, 1 bat, and 2 helmets. The next thing you know, I wound up being athletic director, arguing and hollering with everybody, and the president of Summer and Youth. So I stayed on the girls' side from then on, and I have to really thank a past winner by the name of Ray Perry. A lot of you people in the room know him. He got me started in softball coaching at the high school level, and he took me with him to LaSalle University for a few years, where we won a couple of MAC championships. It was a great experience for me, and he put me in touch with George Todt, Archbishop Brian, who hired me sight unseen, and I appreciate everything that the Archbishop Brian family did for me. George Todt, Walt Bradby, they were great over the past 19 years for putting up with me all that time, actually. The coaches, I have a couple coaches here that I'd like to mention. Maria Rogers, who was a former player at Archbishop Brian and went on to play at Holy Family University, and she's now on our staff, Maria. And Jack Keen's also here, and I appreciate Jack's help over the last 15 years. He's been with me for a long time, and I appreciate that. My time coaching definitely, I think, helped me as being a better football official. It takes a lot of, I guess, officials don't realize all the time that coaching takes and the time that you put in. So I think in the long run, maybe a much better football official knowing the time that these coaches put in at any level, starting in the sandlot level all the way up into the college level. I had a great run in football. I got my start from 2 of my best friends. I grew up with them, Ronnie and Steve Marinucci. They got me involved with officiating football. Broke my chops enough to keep me straight. They brought me along, got me in the high school ranks. I went on to do a little officiating in the public league and the Catholic league, and went on into college. And I had a great time doing it. And you meet a lot of interesting people and friends for life. Jimmy McGonigal, Frank Cosman, and Milt have really helped me out in my college football officiating career, and I appreciate that much. There's one more group that I'd like to acknowledge here tonight that I've made long friendships with over 20 years of being the Catholic League football, also being the Catholic League football commissioner in Interact League, where the athletic directors and administrators of both the Catholic League and the Interact. A lot of them are here tonight, probably too many to mention. I know Franny Doc's here, Jimmy Murray, Paul Butler, and there's the people from Episcopal. Appreciate all your support over the years, and it's been great. Also on the football end, Raffle Dignao, Jimmy Tucker, and Jimmy Dignao have been on my side for many years, and they've done a great job helping me out. Last but not least, you don't get up here, you don't get through this, and make it easy with you and all their trials and tribulations with is your family. Without them and their support, you can't do this type of thing. I appreciate all their love and help over the years. I just want to introduce my families here. Michael, my son Michael, grandson Timmy, my daughter Jennifer, and The Rock, my wife, which I will not forget. Mary Ellen, she's been there for me for many, many years. A few little bump in the road there for 2 years. Had some health issues, and she really came on strong and was there for me every day, and I got through that, and wouldn't be here without her. So again, I'd like to thank everybody for all their support over the years. Hope I have a few years left of me to continue doing all this, and again, congratulations everybody. Thank you for your commitment.
Thank you very much, Andy. Raffle ticket winners, 378, 380, and 39. Thank you very much, Andy. Our next inductee is truly a football lifer. He played football at George Washington High School and then at the University of Alabama under legendary head coach Bear Bryant, and then embarked on a coaching career that continues today, that began at Archbishop Bryant High School. He did great things at Westchester University as the offensive and recruiting coordinator from 1993 to 2003. Also at Kutztown University, Fordham. In the Canadian Football League, he played in his teams played in 5 consecutive conference finals, and he won a Grey Cup in 2008. He currently is the offensive coordinator of the Virginia Swarm of the new United Gridiron Football League, and he comes to us all the way from the state of Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Steph Crun.
First, before I start, I'd like to congratulate all the other inductees. It's very honoring and a humbling experience to be up here with these great accomplishments of these individuals up here. And makes it a little special for me is 2 things. Is one, for many years when I used to come to this banquet, I used to sit there and would only imagine what it would be like one day to be honored up here and be honored up here, and to give a lot of thanks to some people who got me up here. And I think one is Milt Halstead and the committee. I'd like to thank those people. 2 special people I'd like to also thank are Joe D'Angelo, who's been, I had the privilege of working with at Westchester University, who I think was very instrumental in me getting here. And another guy is a friend, Jim DeVirgilis, who's somewhere in the audience here, who's provided a lot of advice and counsel over the years. And I'd like to thank those 2 people, first of all. And you know what's great about here is seeing a lot of the officials, a lot of people I've known for a bunch of years. And I came up here and I saw our seating arrangements, and they put 3 Northeast Philly guys together. John McGardo, myself, and Andy Hafel, and I'm in the middle. So I truly felt like the thorn between 2 roses. As far as any time you receive an award, nothing's ever accomplished on your own. You're really just a byproduct of other people. And you know, Andy and I were talking a little bit before. There's so many people that you really want to thank. That you really can't do it all in the time that you really have. So I'm going to try to highlight a few people here. First of all, the one that I owe most to is my wife, Monica, who's back man in the Fort in Linden, Washington. She's been with me through 30 years of coaching, 4 leagues, 2 countries, and moved the girl from Kensington and Allegheny out to Linden, Washington, which is a rural community of about 10,000 people. So talk about culture shock. But I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for her constant support, guidance, and kicking a butt once in a while. Also, there's probably in addition to some of my #1 fans are my folks who had a chance to be here, Ralph and Renata, who are here. I'd like them to stand up right now because they put up with a lot. So they were able to make it today. And also, a special treat for me is I was able to bring my daughter Bridget, who's the true athlete of the family, with me here from the state of Washington, and I'm glad she was able to make it. There's also some friends I'd like to thank for coming out. Rick and Maria Daniels, who I'll hit on later, who are also my daughter's godparents. The Miloradovich family, the Durace family, and Keith Froggatt, who are also here coming, which I think is very nice. Everybody got to start somewhere, and I think the start I had was really what got me influenced in coaching and got me on this path. Was my coaches at the University of Alabama, and as Dave said earlier, I was fortunate enough to play for Coach Bryant, but generally when you play for a head coach, you also have a position coach that's probably the guy who's the most influential to you, and the guy that was very influential to you was my position coach, which was a guy named Bobby Marks, who had coached me my time at Alabama, who instilled a lot of the coaching bug in me, and I am indebted to those 2 people. Also, Philadelphia and the state of Pennsylvania I owe a lot to. I really coached 19 years in the Philadelphia area. There's some people I have to thank. And back in 1981, John Quinn gave me my first high school assistant job. And then I worked for John for 4 years, and then I was able to become the head coach at Archbishop Bryan. And two people who kind of gave me that position were George Todt and Father Leonard Stunak. And without those two people, you know, they gave me my start, which was one of my most cherished coaching jobs. And also, we talked about the Philadelphia City All-Star Game. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention a man named Ed DiCamillo, who asked me in 1986 to serve as an assistant coach for the Philadelphia Daily News All-Star Game at that time. And it was just a wonderful experience, and I had the opportunity to serve as head coach the following year. After those people, Danny Hale, who is now the head coach of Bloomsburg University, hired me out of Archbishop Bryan in 1988 at Westchester University. Rick Daniels rehired me in 1993 at Westchester University, and I worked there. And then also Coach Dave Keeney, who's also here, hired me in 2004 at Kutztown University. And his father, Bill, is also here, who was on that staff. And there were some great people I had a chance to work with. When you work in the business as long as I have, you work with a lot of different people, and you come in contact with many different people. And I will tell you, these people I mentioned are not only outstanding football coaches, and I was very privileged to have worked for those people, but also they are every bit as outstanding people, and I hope I measure up to their standards. And also, without your assistant coaches that you've worked with, and I had some great people when I was at Archbishop Bryan, and three I'd like to mention that were with me when I was an assistant and when I was a head coach and are still friends today. Rick Ifey, Frank McFillan, and Jim Mannion. I'd be remiss not to mention those guys who've been with me. And also the players. Nothing's ever accomplished without your players, and you owe everything to your players. Your players are first and foremost. And two of them are here that I'd like to mention out because they have a little special significance to me. One is Bob Dillon, who's here, and Bob was part of my first year as head coach, and so he put up with me right there. So, and it was kind of good because his dad was an official, so I kind of always thought I had a little bit of an in. And then the other guy here was actually I had the privilege to coach him for a very small period of time. My first year as the head coach of City All-Star Game, Brian Fluck, who's turned out to be a very successful high school coach in the area, and I felt very privileged to have coached those guys. And again, all the players I've coached have been very fortunate. And I just want to leave you with this. There's something I read not too long ago in a book, and I feel that this really fits me. I feel I'm very fortunate to have been blessed with a great family, good friends, good health and favor. And I want to thank you all for having me here, and I want to thank the board again. I'm truly honored and privileged to have been up here in front of you guys. Thank you.
Our next inductee is mentioned in the same breath as Reggie White, Ronnie Lott, and Jerry Rice. And there are only literally a few men in the world who can say that. He's one of only 8 players to be named to the NFL's All-Decade team in both the 1980s and the 1990s. He started his professional career, one that lasted 25 seasons, 25 years, a full generation, as a member of the Philadelphia Stars in the United States Football League, and he ended his career in Philadelphia as a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. 22 seasons in the NFL, 17 straight seasons with a punting average of more than 42 yards. He played on 4 World Championship teams, and his teams made the playoffs 15 times. And tonight he joins us wearing the championship ring that he earned in Philadelphia, which I think says a lot. Not born in Philadelphia, but he certainly made his home here and is one of us. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of my former teammates and a friend, Mr. Sean Landetta.
Thank you, Dave. First of all, I'd like to thank the Philadelphia Eagles for having us here at the Link. It's great to see their involvement and allowing us to have a great dinner here tonight. And also want to thank Executive Director Milt Halstead and the board of the Hall of Fame, the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame, for having me here. It's a great honor. Congratulations to all the fellow inductees here. It's a great night for all of you, as it is for me, and for all of you that came to support the event tonight and the cause. We really appreciate it. It's great being up here to be honored and look out to see a wonderful crowd that's here to see you all. You know, I started here in Philadelphia back in 1983, the old Philadelphia Stars. And it was a wonderful team. It was an exciting time for me getting to live my dream. I left here in 1985 to play for some other teams. I came back to Philadelphia in 1999 and ultimately finished playing here in 2005. And you know, it's only fitting that I started here, I ended here. I ended up marrying a wonderful girl from Northeast Philadelphia, or as they say, the Great Northeast. I think they told me that's how we're supposed to say that. Grand Academy, is that right, lovely? Yeah. Archbishop Brian? See, I'm learning. Okay, but you know, it's really a great honor to be part of this. I mean, I was so lucky to live my dream, play pro football, meet some great people. At my table here tonight's a perfect example of that. You know, friends that I met while I was playing here that I'll be friends for life with, and I appreciate you all coming out. Rich Berg's been a great friend, worked for the Eagles for years in their PR department. You know, there's so many people I'd like to thank. I look out here and see so many people I know. I see Jim Murray, who's, you know, you want to sit down and talk to somebody and you'll be on the edge of your seat for 2 hours, talk to Jim Murray, just a wealth of knowledge. I saw an old teammate of mine, John Shigo from the USFL. Blair Thomas, one of the great running backs ever, who I've known for 20 years, is here. Great to see you, Blair. But more important than that is why we're all here. And it's really an honor to be part of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame, and I look in the future to be able to come back here and support all of you. Thank you all for having me.
I've just been told, and please, let's hope it's not a stampede, the bar is open. Our next inductee vaulted into my life this year. Had a chance to get to know him as he coached my son. Learned a lot about life through him. I learned a lot about him through my father-in-law. One of the finest athletes in the history of the William Penn Charter School, a star in baseball and football and basketball, played on league championship teams in each of those sports, was a member of the first induction class at Penn Charter in 1997, also inducted to with the 1967 football team and 2 baseball teams that he coached. He went on to attend the University of Pennsylvania, started for 3 years on the varsity football team there, and had an opportunity to play and be part of an Ivy League championship team. At that time, he decided he wanted to be a teacher and a coach, and he has done that with Penn Charter for the last 34 years as their head baseball coach. He's also completed his 25th year as an assistant coach for the Philadelphia Little Quakers football team, the finest organization of young men in football that I've ever been around. Very much a privilege to be part of that this year. He's also in his 12th year as the executive director of the Richie Ashburn Baseball Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome Rick Meller.
I promised a group of umpires over here my talk tonight would be very short and more civil than they're used to hearing, so I'll start out with that. Should I start again? All right. A little closer. All right, thank you. I promised the group of umpires that my talk tonight would be much shorter and more civil than they're used to hearing from me over the past 30 years. I would like to thank the City All-Star Chapter of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame for this honor. I appreciate your recognition of the hard work of all the honorees here tonight. To all my players and friends who are here tonight, thank you for sharing this honor with me. It was a long road from Schranksville, Pennsylvania to being here tonight. I had many great mentors who taught me how to play, to coach, and the importance of a good education, and the value of serving those of need in your community. I thank all of them tonight. Special thanks goes to my parents and my older brother for all they did and sacrificed to enrich my formative years. I thank every player. I wish all my players are here tonight. Could you please stand up? Stand up. Come on. Brian McCluskey, David Marrow. some of my ex-players. I thank them for sharing this moment with me tonight. I thank Richie Ashburn, Jr. and Ruben Amaro, Jr. for all they have done to help me create and run the Richie Ashburn Baseball Foundation. We run free baseball camps for over 10,000 kids in the last 10 years throughout the Delaware Valley. A footnote here, we are changing the name this year. We're bringing Richie and Harry back together. We're changing the name to the Richie Ashburn Harry Callis Foundation. And go to our website and send a donation anytime you want. I was told to say that by Richie Ashburn tonight, Jr. Finally, and most importantly, I thank my wife, Mary. Please stand up. And my children, Brennan and McCall. I'm not going to get up. Get up. For allowing me to be a coach. There has been so much time away from my family and their life events over the years. I want them to know I miss every moment away from them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 3 more raffle winners. 730830. Our next inductee had a fantastic athletic career at Chesterville Academy. He earned 13 varsity letters, 4 in football, 4 in baseball, 3 in wrestling, and 2 in basketball. Somehow managed to keep his grades very good. Captain of both the football and baseball teams, where he earned all Interact League honors in both football and baseball, and all city honors in baseball. Upon graduation, he attended Temple University and played baseball there for the legendary head coach, Skip Wilson. He started all 4 years there and was captain of the 1977 Temple baseball team that played in the College World Series. His coaching and officiating career began at Temple, and it has continued for many, many, many years, both basketball and baseball, and he's umpired for over 30 years. He's worked 10 NCAA regional tournaments and 1 College World Series. The highlight in his umpiring career, when he umpired third base during the Chicago Cubs Philadelphia Phillies game at Citizens Bank Park. In 2001, he was inducted into the Chesterville Academy Athletic Hall of Fame. Please welcome John McCarroll.
Well, I would also like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee and congratulate all the other inductees tonight. There are many people who helped you during your career to get where you go, and a couple of us has already said that this evening. Far too many to try to name everyone, but I do thank each and every one of them. I was blessed with great coaching, beginning with my father, Frankie Bartlett. Many of the people in this room know him. He was inducted into this Hall of Fame in 1995. He taught me about having passion, commitment, and a love of athletics, to do my best and make no excuses. He helped me to understand what it meant to be a teammate, to put that above myself, and to absolutely give my best effort, to win or lose with class and dignity. I had Maeve McDonald and Benny Cole in high school at American Legion, 2 ex-major leaguers who were not only great coaches, but exceptional role models as well. At Temple University, I played for Skip Wilson and Don Flynn. Coach Flynn handled all our pitchers and was not only extremely knowledgeable about baseball, but one of the finest men I've ever known. Don was inducted here in 2006. Skip, our head coach, and Coach Shane, this is no slight to you. He was the best collegiate baseball coach in the country. We were nationally ranked 3 of my 4 years. Skip taught us how to play, but he also taught us how to teach and how to be men. He has been a true mentor for me in my coaching career. He has also been a friend. I was fortunate during my summer season spring baseball to play for Jack Purdy at Magnolia. And again, a lot of you people in this room know Jack. Another fabulous baseball coach and a great guy. My coaching led me to Father Judge, where I had the opportunity to coach under Whitey Sullivan. When Whitey hired me, he had an outstanding staff. Guys like Bobby Kaut, Bruce Gladhorn, Billy Edger, Billy Cook, Warren Southern, and my favorite, my brother Frank. Someone who to this day I respect and admire. Throughout my coaching career over the last 34 years, I have often called upon him for advice and guidance. He's always been there for me. Frank, thank you. I actually started my coaching career at Crispin Gardens when I was 16 years old in high school. And a man by the name of Charlie Cervalli got me to coach with him. I was coaching 6, 7, and 8-year-olds in football, basketball, and baseball while I was playing. Charlie's guiding principles to us were to teach and keep it fun. Lessons that I still hold close to my heart. When I left Father Judge and got a full-time teaching job, I was fortunate to land at Chesterville Academy, and that's where I'd gone to high school. I have the opportunity to work with outstanding people there. Guys like Jack Plunkett, Frank McGee, Billy Dorner, Eddie Aversa, Ron Colston, Tom Cockle, Steve Heisen, and our current head coach, Rick Knox. During baseball, now that I'm back coaching, I'm very blessed to work with Stan Parker and Bob Underkoffler, Dennis Primavera, Kenny Conlon, and Jack Purdy. All these men are not only excellent coaches, but outstanding people as well. And they're all here tonight to help me celebrate. I know I said I wasn't going to mention everyone, and believe me, I haven't. My officiating career paralleled my coaching life. As in other facets of my life, I have had excellent mentors, excellent role models. Tom Telford, who's a member of our Hall of Fame. Bob Nelson, another member of our Hall of Fame. And the 2 finest college umpires in the country today, Frankie Sylvester and Scott Grant, and both of them are here somewhere tonight. I also have a whole table of my fellow umpires, actually 2 tables over there, who I still work with, and I thank them as well. And like everyone else here tonight, you would certainly be remiss if you didn't thank your family. My 2 sons, John and Michael, my father-in-law, Pop, or Bob Magliano, all my brothers and sisters who are here, Frankie, Eddie and Matt, my 2 sisters, Mary Ann and Trish, my nieces and nephews around here, my childhood friends of over 50 years are here tonight, Nikki, Tony, and Kevin. And finally, the person I really need to thank is my mother. I have been blessed to have such a warm, caring, and gracious lady to call Mom. Stern when she had to be, which for me was probably quite often. Loving and always giving of herself. She taught me fairness, integrity, and honesty. and she lives those values every day. Mom, thank you, and I love you. Once again, I'd just like to thank the committee for having me up here, and congratulations to all the other inductees. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Let's run through some of these raffle tickets, please. 730. Next inductee, one word describes our next inductee, and that is simply champion. When you look on his page in the program, and it lists all of his championships won, the font, very, very tiny. Very difficult to get all the championships that he has been part of. Began in his childhood in the 1940s, playing stickball, halfball, baseball, football, and basketball. Scored a championship with the ASA Modified Fast Pitch National Championship team. He's won over 70 championship titles during nearly 50 years of playing and coaching. And when the playing and coaching was done, he was in the background supporting all of those who play the game at a recreational level. Very, very important. Without him, it'd be very difficult to continue at that level. In 1986, he was inducted into the Philadelphia Metro Softball Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joseph M. Regan.
Thank you, everybody. I want to thank Denny Hill, Mike Poland, congratulate everybody up here. I want to thank my wife and kids for putting up with me 50 years. And everybody ever played for me, you always gave me 100%. That's why we won. Thank you, that's it.
All right, some raffle winners, please. One more to get out. Our next inductee was a four-sport competitor at Albany High School, and from there he attended Westchester University, although it wasn't Westchester University then, lettering there in baseball and in football. And then it was time to go back and work with the kids in the Philadelphia School District after serving his country for 2 years. After his time in the high school level, he went to the college ranks as an assistant varsity baseball coach at Villanova, and has been in Villanova until 1985 as an assistant coach and as the head baseball coach. He stepped down in 1985 and was appointed the assistant athletic director at Villanova. So he's certainly made a difference at all levels of athletics. Since 2001, after retiring from Villanova in 1998, he unretired to join the Haverford School coaching ranks. Now he serves at Haverford as a baseball assistant and has been a basketball assistant there. Since 2001, he has been the sports chairman for the Philadelphia area JCC Maccabee Games. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Larry Shane.
Joe Regan's going to be a tough act to follow. I'd like to thank the Philadelphia chapter for this great honor. I'm very humble. There are 5 special people who I'd like to mention this evening. First, my wife Barbara, who was a coach's widow the day she married me, and has been with me for over 40 years. Stand up, take a bow. My 2 sons, Brian and Andrew, who she raised and did a great job. Where the usual question around the dining table at night is, where's Daddy's tonight? I had the good fortune of being hired at Villanova University by one great human being, Unfortunately, that gentleman cannot be here tonight. Art Mahan was the athletic director and baseball coach who gave me the opportunity of a lifetime. My two sons and my wife both have Villanova degrees, and Art is the oldest living Philly and is 2 months shy of his 97th birthday. And if he hadn't had some cataract operation, he would be here tonight. 34 years that I spent at Villanova were some of the happiest of my life. And the one thing I learned from Art was the kids come first, do all you can to win, have a lot of fun, and don't take the game home with you. The other person who's here with me this evening was my assistant. And for 12 years, no one ever had a better assistant baseball coach. You can have great baseball players and be a great coach, or great in any sport. But you have to have good assistants and you have to have good people around you. And I had one of the best, whether it was hitting fungos, loyalty, dedication. He was there for me all the time. On Florida trips when we were washing uniforms at 3 o'clock in the morning so kids could have clean uniforms, Phil Fidalgo was always there for me. Phil, stand up and take a bow. You deserve it. And very quickly, I'd just like to leave you with some wit and wisdom from the great Satchel Paige. And my best West Philadelphia Stengalese, I'll try to get it right. Satch said, you win some and you lose some. And they're just numbers that people put in the books. But you got all those players that you played with, for and against, and there's a lot of them out here tonight that I played for, with, and against. They're my friends 30, 40, 50 years ago. They're my friends now, and I cherish those moments. And as Satch says, to all those places, all those people, all the memories you have, it's all here, and it's all up there, and you can't put that in no book. Thank you again for this great honor.
Thank you very much, Larry. 4 more, our final 4 winners of the raffle tickets. 7-3, next inductee achieved a very rare trifecta. The only player in history to be all-league in all 3 Philadelphia high school leagues. Soccer at North Catholic, at Germantown Academy, and at Germantown High School. The only athlete to be all-league in the same sport in all 3 Philadelphia high schools. He then went on to establish a soccer dynasty at Cardinal Dougherty High School, compiling a record of 102 wins, 11 losses, and 2 ties in his time there, winning 5 Catholic League and 3 city championships. 3 times he was named Coach of the Year by Soccer Research Incorporated, and once by the Philadelphia Old Timers. In 6 seasons there, he coached 24 All-Catholic League players and 1 All-American. He passed away in December of 2001, and accepting for Jack Smith this evening, his wife, Peg. Let's please welcome Peg to the podium.
Hi, I'd like to first of all congratulate all the other inductees. You know, I'm nervous, can you tell? Okay, all right. It's all I can keep thinking is, so many men, what should I do? I don't know. But anyway, congratulations, your accomplishments. I listened to everything that you gentlemen have done, and my husband believed in it too. You gave your time and you coached kids. Wherever you go in life, you don't realize what impression that you have on the kids that you coached. Because in 1969, Jack Smith asked me to marry him. Girl from East Falls, knew nothing about soccer. And then he said, we have to get married before soccer season. I looked at him, I said, are you kidding me? My brother Bob's getting married. no, if we're going to get married, it has to be before soccer season. I didn't know soccer. East Falls, we didn't have soccer. Well, 41 years later, that soccer ball seems to be rolling and rolling along. He had made many, many friends. He touched many, many lives. To this day, people come up to me, "Hi Peg, how are you?" I could never have dreamed back then that this man would still be with me in so many ways. We all miss him, we loved him. Now, he had his moments though, let me tell you. And to all the wives of all the coaches, I do understand. I know, and you know, he did stop in 73. And all the things that have been said up here tonight. We had a son, Matthew, who was here. He went to Father Judge, okay? He never played soccer, okay? But everything that's been in this room tonight, I grew up around the corner from Penn Charter. I don't know, you know, I don't know what to say to you, but all of you people in this room and the inductees have really been incredible, and I can only be thankful that I am up here to accept this for Jack. If Jack were here tonight, he'd love being in this room. This would have blown him away. I want to tell you, thank you to the committee, Mike Pollan, my nephew Danny, and Holly. My family's over there, and I'm going to say Matthew, his wife Marie, and their daughter Brittany, my two daughters Melissa and Danielle, and you know I have to mention these kids' names. There's Shane and Douglas Carpenter over there. And Mike Collins said I could talk and talk all night, but I really don't want to. God bless you, and be careful driving home. Thank you.
Thank you, We have our final 6 tickets. 6 tickets, right? 7 tickets. Congratulate all of the inductees into the 2010 City Chapter of the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame.
You can sit, you don't need to stand for me. This is going to be brief, short, quick. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. This was a great affair. It was a great event. For the people that know people that were dissatisfied tonight, just tell them to drop me a line, send me an email, and I will talk it over with them. If I have to reimburse them, I will definitely do that. Okay? I want to apologize. What happened with the food, we will rectify it for next year. And all I want to say is have a safe trip home. God bless you, and I love all of you. Good night and safe travels.